Have you ever just stopped and felt like you're playing a role in someone else's movie? That the life you're living, the career, the house, the goals, that it isn't really yours? Well, today we're going to dive into the incredible wisdom of Carl Jung to see how these ideas can help us navigate all that chaos and find our true selves. Wow. We're starting with a big one. Just let that think in for a second. Have you ever felt that? Like you're living out a script that was written for you? Maybe you're fulfilling a dream that belonged to a parent or a grandparent? For Jung, this is a huge deal, and it's right where our journey to find our own path really begins. So let's talk about that first part of life, right? A lot of the time, it's about following a path that seems like it's already laid out for us. It's this well-trodden road, paved by family, by society, by all these expectations. And you know what? That path can feel really safe, really clear, and incredibly crowded. Okay, now this is interesting, because it kind of flips everything we're taught on its head. We think a clear path is a good thing, don't we? A sign that we've got it all figured out. But Jung warns us, a life without struggle, without confusion, without a few wrong turns, that might just mean we're walking in someone else's footsteps. So let me ask you, how clear is your path right now? Think about it. From when we're little, we're told, find a role model, follow their example. But listen to what Jung has to say about that. Woe to those who live by examples. There is no life in them. Who will live your life but yourself? I mean, that's the bottom line, isn't it? Your life is the one thing nobody else can live for you. It's your story to write. So if we spend our youth on someone else's path, what happens when we get to, say, the halfway point? This is such a critical moment. We call it the midlife crisis, but Jung saw it as something way more important. He saw it as a profound opportunity, a necessary turning point where we finally stop and ask, wait a second, is this really me? Oh, I absolutely love this idea. It just reframes the entire first half of our lives. It means you're not a failure if you haven't figured it all out. No, you've been doing research, collecting data. You've been gathering experiences, learning what you love, what you hate, and maybe most importantly, who you are not. The real experiment, the one where you get to design your own life, is just about to begin. And look, this isn't about the number, it's a symbol. It's that moment you might realize you've been scrambling up the ladder with all your might, only to discover it's been leaning against the wrong wall the whole time. But here's the thing, it's not an end. It is the beginning of a much more intentional way of living, where you finally get to choose which wall you lean your ladder against. And let's be real for a second. This turning point, it's not always easy. It can be full of doubt and struggle and some serious discomfort. But the way Jung saw it, that's not a bug, it's a feature. He actually said man needs difficulties, they are necessary for health. It's like a muscle, right? It means resistance to get stronger. That friction is exactly what forces us to grow. So if you're feeling that friction, that sense of something's got to change, what's the next step? Well, according to Jung, it all comes down to a fundamental shift in where you're looking. You have to stop searching for the answers out there in the world, and you have to start looking in here, inside yourself. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Looking outside for approval, for happiness, for someone to tell you you're on the right track, that's living in a dream. You're basically a character in a play, reading lines somebody else wrote for you. The real awakening, the real clarity, that happens when you have the guts to step off the stage, turn your focus inward, and start writing your own script. This really breaks it down, right? On one side, you've got the dream. You're living in this illusion, constantly seeking validation from others. On the other side, you have the awakening, finding your own clarity, discovering your internal truth. Just take a step in and be honest with yourself. Which side of this chart are you spending more time on these days? Of course, there's a reason so many of us avoid this. It is hard work. It's uncomfortable. It can be genuinely scary. Jung had this great witty observation about it. He said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And it's true. It's so much easier to stay busy, to scroll, to numb ourselves with distractions, than it is to just be still and listen to what's really going on inside. All right, so let's say we do it, we get brave, and we decide to look inside. What do we find? Well, we find this huge hidden territory that Jung called the unconscious mind. And this is where the real work and the real treasure is buried. You guys, this is one of the most powerful ideas in all of psychology. Seriously, You ever wonder why you keep making the same mistake in relationships, or why you have that one specific trigger that always sets you off? Well, Jung would say that's your unconscious mind driving the car. And until you climb into the driver's seat and see what's really going on, you'll just keep calling it fate or bad luck. So to be super clear, what is the unconscious? Think of it like the basement of your mind. It's where you store all the stuff that's been repressed or forgotten, or maybe just never even noticed. It's filled with old memories, hidden desires, and really powerful emotions that are influencing everything you do from below the surface without you even realizing it. This journey into the unconscious is what Jung meant when he talked about meeting your shadow self. And this isn't about being evil or bad. It's just about acknowledging the parts of yourself you'd rather pretend aren't there, the anger, the jealousy, the insecurity. He believed that knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. And why is that? Because once you understand it in yourself, you're a lot less likely to judge it in others. It creates genuine empathy. So here's the really crucial part. Becoming a whole person isn't about cutting off the bad parts of yourself. Not at all. It's about what Jung called integrating the contraries. It's like learning to dance with every part of yourself, the light and the dark. You have to see your shadow, try to understand why it's there, and then integrate it into a more complete, more honest version of you. So after all that, after questioning the path we're on, looking inside, and starting to dance with our shadow, what happens then? Well, this brings us to the final and honestly the most rewarding part of the whole journey. This is where you find the freedom to finally, truly become who you are. Jung would ask people this question to find a clue to their true nature. So, I'm asking you, really think about it. Before the world told you who you were supposed to be, what did you just love to do? What made you lose all track of time? The answer to that question, it holds a really powerful key. And here's the most liberating part. Your key is not the same as anyone else's. In Yo's words, the shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. You have to find the path that fits you, not one you found in a book or saw on social media. You get to be the architect of your own life. Ultimately, this whole thing isn't about chasing some huge external idea of success. It's about meaning. Jung believed that the least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. That means a small, meaningful moment is worth way more than a big, empty achievement. A life full of meaning is a well-lived life, period. And this is the goal. This is the payoff for all the struggle, all the searching, and all the inner work. It's not fame, it's not money. It is the simple, profound, and deeply personal privilege of becoming the person who are always meant to be. It's that feeling of finally coming home to yourself. And so we end right back where we started, with the most important question of all. After thinking about all this, who are you going to let live your one precious life? The choice, as always, is yours. And it's a choice you get to make every single day.